Hi there, my name is Lisa. I wanted to make this video because a lot of people have been reaching out and have had questions, and I've also had questions, and I thought, what a great time to talk about this. This video, if you are interested, is going to be about my journey, this month-long roller coaster I've been on with Graves' disease. So if you are interested, keep watching. So if you don't know me, my name is Lisa, and I was diagnosed on June 1st with Graves' disease. I am 27 years old. Apparently this is a common thing for women under 40, which I found out through this whole process. But I just wanted to kind of go over my story because I was looking on YouTube and looking on like websites and looking for really anything and everything I could find regarding this because it's also new to me, and I could find some, but I didn't find many, and I was wanting to be that person for maybe the next person who's diagnosed with Graves' disease and this confusing and all-encompassing disease. So the way my story started was, I would say, like February or March area. I live at home with my parents, and my mom made a comment saying my left eye looked swollen. I looked in the mirror and I looked at photos of myself, and I kind of brushed her off, but I noticed something was a little different, but I thought it was my right eye. Fast forward a little bit, and it was in March. My eye kept, she kept making comments on my eye. I kept noticing my eye was getting bigger, the proptosis was starting, and my mom was still convinced it was my left eye. So I went to see my PCP and said, hey, I had a sinus infection. So I said, hey, I have a sinus infection, and I also noticed my left eye seems to be swollen. And the PCP was like, oh yeah, it looks, it was a nurse practitioner. She was like, it looks swollen, probably allergies or something. Take medicine for allergies, deal with your sinus infection, it should go away. Granted, I went in because I thought it was my left eye at that point in time. So, months go on, I take medicine. It's getting worse, and I'm posting about it a little bit. I thought I had ptosis, it's the P is silent, which I was really worried about as well, because that can happen, and that's when your eyelid droops, because again, I thought it was my left eye that the issues were with. And the only fix for ptosis is surgery, cosmetic surgery, which really freaked me out, and I was like, I don't want to have to get surgery on my eyeball, and that's one of the only fixes. So I was like looking up like different like techniques to like tap your eye and stuff to try to make it bigger or whatever, because again, I thought it was this eye. And about a month ago, a little over a month ago, I was driving home from the park with my dog, and I like sneezed or something. Something happened, and I closed my left eye, and I realized out of my right eye, which is the eye obviously has the Graves proptosis, I noticed I couldn't see far away. Now, this really freaked me out because I have 20/20 vision, or I had 20/20 vision my whole life, and I've never had any eye issues, to the point where I almost didn't even get eye insurance with work because I've never had issues. I never needed glasses, thankfully. I've never had any issues. It freaked me out a little bit, and I thought maybe I need glasses. I didn't think anything crazy, but I just was a little worried because I've never had that issue before, and it happened to be in the eye that I noticed was looking a little strange. Somehow we were in the red phase, and we had just moved to yellow phase, because in Pittsburgh you have phases of COVID openings, and we had red, yellow, green, like a stoplight. And so it had just gotten to be yellow, which meant some businesses could open back up, like essential businesses. And it was just a little bit more lenient. And somehow so this was a Thursday, that Saturday I was able to get in with an eye doctor. So I go to my eye doctor appointment. My dad comes with me, and I mentioned the issues with my eyes, both that my eye looks large to me, or something, or my eye is swollen, something's wrong with my eye. One of these two, I wasn't sure. To me, I thought it was the right, my mom thought it was the left. And also that my vision in my right eye was not doing well. I never had issues before. So he did some tests and he did some like vision stuff, you know, all the good stuff. And said that, you know, as far as my vision goes, my left eye is still 20/20. I had a bit of astigmatism, and that my right eye was the issue, that was likely due to a thyroid issue, or worst case scenario, a tumor. And he said likely in his, you know, it's unlikely to be a tumor because in his time, he had only seen this happen when you had an overactive thyroid. Now, he didn't say Graves' disease at this point because he's not an endocrinologist, so he wasn't able to diagnose that, but he said a thyroid issue, and he recommended as soon as possible going to my PCP to get my labs done, because if it wasn't my thyroid, he was nervous that it would be a tumor. So he took pictures of my eyes and he said, you are a little bit nearsighted, but I don't see anything that would be alarming other than it's a little bit enlarged back there, but that is typical, again, of the thyroid issue, so please go get that checked as soon as you can. So that day I went home, and it was a Saturday, so I didn't think anyone was open at PCP. So that Monday was the 25th. It was Memorial Day, so things were closed. So that Tuesday, before I got on to work, I called the PCP that I go to and I said, you know, hey, do you have any available appointments? I was recommended to see you guys about a possible thyroid issue because my eye doctor said to, is there any openings? They said, yeah, come in. We have an opening today, actually, in an hour. Can you come in? And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Thank you. Yes, of course. So I went in and I told them, you know, what I was experiencing, and that my right eye was very clearly something looks wrong with it, that my eye doctor recommended I got my labs done. So they did that right there in office. And she said, you know, yes, your eye does show the typical symptoms of Graves. And before I went to my PCP, my mom was doing a little Googling that Monday and said, Lisa, I think you could have Graves. And I had never heard Graves in my life, and I didn't know what that was. I had no idea. I know about people having thyroid issues, but I didn't know about Graves. I had no idea what that meant. And she was Googling, she was Googling my symptoms. We went over with my eye doctor that it was my right eye, so she was Googling those symptoms, and Graves came up. So I looked it up, and it did seem like it could be something that I had. And so that was the Monday before I went to see my PCP. PCP confirmed, although we don't have your test backs, it does look like you have Graves. Or the most commonly associated symptoms with Graves is the proptosis of the eye or eyes. And for me, I only have it in one eye, obviously, but some people do get both eyes where they look like, that. Like Wendy Williams, for example, has Graves' disease, which again, I didn't know. So that's an example of someone who has it in both eyes. I just had it in the one eye. So, I was very interested, and I was Googling away, and I had my labs done, and my family knows an endocrinologist, which is a godsend, and it's proven to be the best thing that's ever happened in this whole saga. So before I even got my labs done, my mom reached out to this endo that we know and said, hey, my daughter is showing symptoms consistent with Graves. She just got her levels checked. Would you be willing to see her or talk to her or, set up an appointment so we can, see what's going on? She got blood work done. We don't have them back yet, but that should tell us, something. Endo was like, absolutely, I'll see her. I'll make time. I'll make sure we get her in no matter what. And so this was that Tuesday, so June 1st. So if this was May 26th and I saw the PCP, it was June 1st that I was able to get in with my endocrinologist, which was that Monday. That Friday, I got my lab results back, get a call from my PCP, and they say, hey, your labs came in and they're consistent with Graves' disease. We recommend scheduling an appointment with an endocrinologist as soon as possible. Luckily, I already had that scheduled because, again, my angel from above is someone that we already knew. So I already had that scheduled for that Monday, which was great. talked to her on the phone about everything, and I'll show a picture here of what I looked like on that call, because I find that my eye, which I'll talk about in detail in a minute, is like sometimes can look a little bit more jarring than other times, and this call was definitely one of those times where I was starting to resemble Quasimodo, which is a lovely Disney character, but definitely not the one I would choose out of a lineup to look like or resemble. But I'll put the picture up because I do kind of, like, what can I do but poke fun about it? It's my life at the moment. I talked to my endocrinologist, who's the most, like I said, a godsend to me, gave me all the information, did say my labs were consistent with Graves', the proptosis was consistent with Graves', and that we're going to get the ball rolling and figure this out. With Graves' disease, this is all new to me. I have never heard of Graves' before June 1st, or I guess the day, like the 26th. Or the couple days before my PCP, so I don't know everything, so please don't take this as like medical facts, but according to my endocrinologist, I can only what I know and what I've learned through my personal experience. Through my endocrinologist, she said that there are 3 options typically for treating Graves' disease, which, if you didn't know, Graves' disease is an autoimmune disease where or whatever attacks things in your body attack your thyroid, which causes your thyroid to overproduce. So it's hyperthyroidism. You can have hyperthyroidism without Graves'. Graves' does cause hyperthyroidism. It's kind of like that was the cause. It was no other cause that my thyroid was acting erratically other than the Graves', but the Graves' is the reason. And it's kind of funny, I was diagnosed with vitiligo about a year ago, and that's another autoimmune disease where, like, you can see it in my hands, you can see it on my arms, but that's a disease, it's not a skin disease, it's a disease where your cells attack the pigment in your body, which cause the loss of skin color in those places. I have it on my face, but you can't really tell because I'm wearing a little bit of makeup because I want to look a little bit presentable, I already have my eye going wrong so I just wanted to go. But it was funny, the reason I bring that up is because when I got diagnosed with vitiligo, which again is an autoimmune disease, my mom immediately said to me, Lisa, when you have one autoimmune disease, it's very, very likely and very, very common to develop a second autoimmune disease. Here we are with Graves', punched me right in the face, quite literally. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I'm hoping 2 is it. I hope there's no more coming after this because I don't know if I can take much more. That was interesting. So vitiligo came first, and through our research with Graves' since then, it is common to develop vitiligo specifically when you have Graves', or vice versa, one or the other. So the 3 treatments for hyperthyroidism are as follows. So you can take a pill for the rest of your life. Well, there's a pill for the rest of your life pretty much for most of these options, but pill for the rest of your life. You can get radioactive iodine treatment, which I believe it's a pill you swallow. I don't really know because I didn't get it, but it's a pill you swallow and it attacks the thyroid and it kills it off. Or you can get your thyroid removed, so a total thyroidectomy, or partial, like depending on your specific scenario. But in my case, these are the options. We immediately ruled out the radioactive iodine. They call it RAI because apparently that will make the proptosis of the eye much worse, and there's just side effects that were not good. And the proptosis of the eye, so the reason my eye looks like this is whatever the Graves' the Graves' is attacking my thyroid, but it's also attacking the nerves behind my eyes, which is causing them to swell. In turn, pushes your eye out, and that can be super dangerous, which we'll get to in a bit, but it can lead to blindness or, worse things. So if you already have proptosis of your eye, if that's already a symptom you're showing, because some people with Graves' don't have this, show yet, or it's not as active, but they did not want to make that worse. That was a caution. That was not something that they were willing to give me, and that's not something that I wanted. Like when they said that, unfortunately for me, and we'll go over it too, is my eye is my biggest source of a battle with myself here, because obviously it's on my face. with COVID, we're walking around with masks on where you can literally only see your eyes. And it's definitely, I don't know, it just definitely makes me self-conscious. Going back to my good old friend, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo, I'm feeling a little like that. And, you know, it's hard to deal with, especially because for me, I like makeup, I like doing that kind of stuff. And, you know, that involves my face, and I want my face to be okay. And my vision worries me. So my eye has definitely been a big part of the issues I've been having. And then so that was ruled out, the radioactive iodine. So then we spoke about the pill for the rest of my life. And one of the pills, and the pill I'm currently on, is called methimazole. I believe it's like the generic brand of a different drug, but I don't know what it's called. And funny tidbit about methimazole, I joined a few Facebook support groups for Graves' disease and thyroid eye disease, which is also called TED, abbreviated at least. And in the Graves one, people kept saying in their posts, I'm on meth, I'm on meth, I'm on meth. And I was like, damn, that sucks. Like, everybody has Graves, is also addicted to meth. Like, that's crazy. They all have drug problems. Like, this is nuts. And then, you know, my dumbass realized they're talking about methimazole and they're just abbreviating it. So I am also on meth, technically, which I thought was kind of funny, because I was just, for the longest time, as a blonde moment, I was just like, all these people are also on meth. Did I join the wrong group? Like, I'm very confused how we all have, like, I thought this was a Graves group, not a support group for, drug abuse, and which would be fine if it was, but I just don't think I would have belonged there. But I thought it was funny. So we're all on meth. But so methimazole, specifically, at least in my case, would be a forever drug. I would have to take it forever, or at least until my thyroid levels were, evened out, which I wasn't under the impression that could happen with methimazole. But basically, because I'm 27, they said that methimazole can have pretty detrimental side effects if you want to start a family in your future, if you want to get pregnant or have kids. It can really do some damage to that process, to your fertility, as well as it can lower your immune response, so your immunity to other diseases. And especially now when there's a global pandemic, I didn't really want that either. They even say, so like it lowers it so much as to, the doctor said straight up, if you even have a cough or a cold, stop taking the medicine for that, whatever length of time that is, because it's no good. You'll have trouble fighting your infection. It's just not a good situation. So those two were pretty much ruled out almost instantly, but I did look into them more on my own. So surgery was the third option, and my endo was like, thyroidectomies are very common. A lot of people have them, not just when you have Graves. Like I said, hyperthyroidism happens to people. Thyroid cancer. There's a lot of different reasons why you would need your thyroid removed. Super standard surgery. Not a lot of risks, not a lot of side effects, not a lot of issues. And then, of course, when you get your full thyroid removed, it forces you into hypothyroidism. And that is where they would level you back up, so you're at a normal, healthy thyroid function. And apparently, a gazillion people are on the drug that puts you back into your homeostasis here with your thyroid. So it's a low risk drug. There's not many issues that people have with it. It doesn't alter anything with pregnancy. It doesn't have any immunity response that's negative. It just seemed like the better option. And the surgery, they say that you get the surgery done, you stay overnight, which I'll explain in a bit, but you stay overnight, you go home the next day, you can kind of resume your normal functions, your normal day-to-day life goes back kind of to normal pretty quickly. Obviously, there'll be an incision right here. I'm gonna look badass, I'm gonna look like someone that stabbed me in the neck. I'll take it, that's fine if this is what fixes me. But yeah, so it seemed, because of my age and my situation and the proptosis of my eye progressing pretty fast, that surgery seemed to be the best option, but we still were, trying to figure it out. So my endo recommended me see a Graves' eye specialist, ophthalmologist, a Graves' eye specialist. I think she also does surgeries. I'm not sure, but she was great. And I met with her Tuesday. So this past Tuesday, because I was on a bit of a vacation, so I couldn't see her any sooner. So I saw her this Tuesday. So it was only a week or so in between my endo appointment and my eye doctor appointment. I went with my dad on Tuesday, and we met with the eye doctor, and she did a bunch of stuff, and her fellow came in and looked at my eye as well, and they were talking to me and doing, eye tests. They numbed my eye, they checked my vision, all of that, and they said that they also agree that they think surgery would be the best option. Obviously, radioactive iodine is out because, again, it would make my eye worse. So they said that we think surgery, but they also said something that was a bit concerning, was my pupil in my right eye was not reacting the way it's supposed to. So they were like shining lights in my eyes, I'm guessing the light. But yeah, they were saying that my pupil was not reacting the way it was supposed to. So they sent me in to do a field peripheral vision test, and that's like, I don't know if you guys have done it. It's kind of a standard thing for eyes, I guess. They make you look into a white box and you stare straight ahead at like an orange dot, and you're supposed to click a button anytime any kind of little white dot appears in anywhere on the box, but you have to look straight ahead. So they're testing your peripherals, and they said after that I could leave, and then we'd be in touch with a surgeon and figure it out from there. However, when I was in my peripheral vision test, they came in and they said, the doctor would like to see you again before you leave. Can you stop in? And so I did, and they said, hey, we'd also like to order a CT scan, which is, kind of standard, because we just want to make sure, because of the issues with your pupil, that nothing worse is going on behind your eye, which that freaked me out because I thought the tumor talk was done when I found out I had Graves, but they were nervous because, again, the way my pupil has been reacting. They said it absolutely could be because the pressure from the Graves making my nerves in the back of my eye expand or swell. So that was some news I didn't want to hear. So I scheduled that for Friday, which was today. So then they gave me a list of surgeons between my endo and my eye doctor who work together, of their favorite surgeons that specialize in thyroidectomies. They're endocrinologist surgeons. It was all Tuesday. And then my endo called me and said, before you talk to the surgeon, whichever one you call or whoever you call, I would like you to get your labs done, your blood work done again, because I want to make sure, the drug that we put you on in the interim, so I'm on the methimazole, just in the interim to get my levels at somewhat of a good place before surgery. I just want to make sure it's effective or it's working or it's doing its job. So on Wednesday, timeline of events. Tuesday saw the eye doctor. Wednesday got my blood drawn. Thursday, I got my appointment with my surgeon. And my surgeon was lovely. I'm so excited to, be under her care. I'm very comfortable. They explained the whole procedure to me, the risks, the side effects, anything and everything with that. Surgery, they say that there's like 4 main risks that are issues that could arise. They're rare, but they can happen. One is they can damage my operatic singing vocal cord, so meaning I wouldn't be able to hit high notes, which I think is kind of funny. Second, that one's the most common apparently, and the second one is it would nick my vocal cord, make my voice more gravelly, deeper, whatever. I don't care about that either. One of the scarier risks is if they nick something and my vocal cords collapse, which would then force them to put a tracheotomy tube in my throat. I don't know if that would be permanent or if it's a temporary solution. I'm not 100% sure, but that sounded scary to me. Also pretty rare in the grand scheme of things. And then the other one was if blood pools where my thyroid used to be, they would have to put me back into surgery, insert ports to drain it. But it's kind of, a routine thing. So it's not anything to super worry about. It's just more surgery. So we're hoping that doesn't happen either. But, as far as the risks go, besides the tracheotomy tube, which I'd be pretty upset about, I think that's what it's called, when they cut here and shove the thingy in there to open up the cords. I'm not super nervous about, the side effects. I had my foot completely reconstructed. I've been through some crazy surgeries. This is not on the top of that list, not even close. Actually kind of excited because I'd like to get the ball rolling with my recovery. And with Graves, you cannot cure Graves. You can throw it into remission, but you cannot cure it. It's a lifelong disease. You'll have it for life, even with the thyroidectomy, even with that. So at my eye doctor's appointment, we were going over the Graves' eye disease, or the thyroid eye disease that's affecting my right eye, because that's the portion of this that she specifically dealt with, is the eye, whereas my endo deals with my thyroid, the surgeon deals with my thyroid, the eye doctor deals with the eye proptosis. And we decided to try to get me on the new FDA approved and the only FDA approved drug to specifically treat thyroid eye disease. It's called Thyroid. So you have to get it intravenously. I believe it's once every 3 weeks for like 6 months or 4 months, something like that. I don't know all the details of that yet, but it's the only drug out there that's specifically made to treat the eye, the issues with the eye, the swelling with the eye, thyroid eye disease specifically. Whereas the other option is a steroid infusion, and that's kind of more generalized, a little bit more risky, a little bit more side effects. But the only thing with Thyroid is it's expensive. We were quoted, before insurance and everything, that it would be $350,000 for the treatment, which there's your American healthcare system for you. That's absolutely absurd. But we did get good news, and we were approved for it by my insurance. I'm not 100% sure what that means I'm going to be paying out of pocket, but it's definitely not $350,000, because if I didn't, as my mom said, which I thought was really funny, she was like, we could pay for it, but your father and I would have to die after retirement. We would just have to be done, because $350,000 is a lot of money for a treatment. But if that was the case, if my insurance didn't cover it, it would be the steroids, because we can't afford it. It's just not something that we could do. But thankfully, it looks like it got approved. They're actually doing at-home treatments, which is kind of cool. They're going to be coming to my house and treating me here. It'll make me a little bit more comfortable. Because it's an intravenous thing, it's going to be kind of weird. I'm going to feel like one of those celebrities that gets like those like hangover IVs. I'm a little nervous about that. I don't really know. The side effects are temporary, because I had a call with a representative from Thyroid, and they seem pretty mild. They said I could body hair loss, diarrhea, fatigue, things like that. But overall, they were said to be temporary. And in the studies with Thyroid, their numbers are incredible for the people it has helped restore their eye to basically normal, if not completely normal. It's just made specially for the eye, and I'm super excited that this is the path that I'm on. So kind of to sum it up, I'm going to need my thyroid taken out and this treatment, because the thyroid treats the overactive thyroid issue, the hyperthyroidism, whereas the infusion treats specifically my eye, because while getting my thyroid taken out can help my eye, it's not guaranteed to do much for my eye. It can help, but it's not like made to treat my eye. Thyroid is. So that's that. So when I was in the consult with the surgeon, I had to get a ultrasound on my thyroid to see if I had any nodules, if there was anything to worry about. It came back clear, they were fine. The technician told me though that, he could tell I had Graves based on the way my thyroid looked. Not 100% sure what that meant, but he was very nice. So with my surgeon, it was kind of funny. She was booked until the 31st of July and had like a standby opening on the 15th of July, but that was her earliest appointment. So we booked the July 15th appointment for my thyroidectomy and my total so they call it TT, so I'm just gonna call it TT. However, my dad and I went out to eat after we went to the surgeon before I got the ultrasound, and I got a call from my endocrinologist who had looked at my labs from that Wednesday blood draw, so this past Wednesday's blood draw, and she said, wow, the thyroid levels look good from the methimazole, or my liver is not okay with the drug. It raised my liver enzymes, which is not good. So I can't drink alcohol. I can't do anything until that's, better, aka until I get surgery. So what she was telling me was she's going to give a call to my eye doctor as well as the surgeon and see what they can do, because if my liver test kept getting worse, one, I'd have to go off the medicine, which would mess up my thyroid for surgery, and they want my thyroid to be stabilized for surgery because it just makes surgery easier and less risky. So basically what they were saying was, if we're not able to reschedule your surgery sooner, we're gonna have to take you off this medicine, and then it's gonna maybe mess up surgery going forward. Somehow my endo pulled some strings. I got a call today, and my surgery is now scheduled for Monday. This Monday, the 22nd, I am going in to get my full thyroid taken out. That little butterfly, he's leaving the nest. We're shattering his cocoon and ripping him out. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster. You have to think, I was diagnosed with Graves on June 1st, June 22nd. I'm getting my thyroid completely removed. And then I'm guessing shortly thereafter, I'm going to be starting the Thyroid treatments. I'm very grateful. This is the fastest I've ever moved in anything in my entire life. I'm very grateful for all my doctors, all my specialists, everybody I've been seeing. You know, everyone's been so very kind, so informative, so helpful, really carrying through this process, because it's been a lot to process. It's been a road. It's been a bumpy roller coaster ride, but I'm excited to get down the first hill and see what happens from there. I just wanted to go over like some symptoms. So Graves can pretty much affect everything I've learned from my research. It can upset your belly. It can make your appetite wild. It can give you anxiety. It can make you depressed. It can make you irritable. It can make you achy. It can make you your heart irregular. It can make your vision messed up. It can mess with your sleeping. It can mess with pretty much every aspect of your life, which then has, you know, me going and rewind thinking like, is this because of Graves? 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 And it's one of those things that like we will probably not know until the Graves is stabilized or in remission, because hopefully with that, some of these issues that I've been having will go away, meaning like my severe stomach aches every time I eat, my insatiable appetite, my anxiety, my irritability, my inability to sleep, my inability to focus. If these things are put in check when all these treatments are started, my levels are back, then we'll know, hey, all of this was because of Graves, which I'm kind of hopeful for, but it's kind of crazy that, you know, this disease can affect everything. And it's, well, because besides my eye, it's a pretty invisible illness. And even with my eye, you know, it looks just like I'm struggling with my eye. It doesn't look like I have this invisible disease. So I don't think it's all hit me yet, everything that's happening. I think, you know, I'm really, really tired a lot recently. Like I can't keep my eyes open. Like even right now, I'm gonna probably, after this, I'm gonna shut this off and go to sleep for a little bit. Nap queen over here. I could sleep. I can sleep every time, but at night. But truly, I think it's made me really tired, and I don't know if that's due to the Graves, if that's because I'm stressed, if that's because it's all kind of creeping up on me, or you know what. And I feel a lot of tension in my body, and I think that's also a stress response. Whereas normally, like when I'm anxious, I get belly ache. I feel like I have to go to the bathroom or throw up. It's like I'm shaking. I think my body's just reacting in a different way to kind of protect me, since it's all happening so fast and my brain's kind of running with it. So I plan on making a few more videos just to update everyone with the progress of my surgery and everything with the Thyroid, just because again, like I'm a person who looks for resources both on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere I can find them, Google, and I just wasn't finding a lot. And I figured maybe I can be that resource for somebody who's dealing with this after me. And just, you know, we're not alone. It's going to be a rough road, I'm sure of it. It's a lifelong situation, but we're dealing with it. Could always be worse. Could always be better. Like, what can you do? Like, keep on keeping on. You know what they say? When life gives you lemons, you squeeze them. When life gives Lisa lemons, you eat them.